Hello there. Today I watched the film The Kitchen and now I want to review it for you. It's a relationship drama set in a dystopic science fiction future. Daniel Kaluuya and Joe Murtaugh wrote the story, and Daniel Kaluuya and Kibwe Tavares directed the film. The film stars Kano Kane Robinson as Izzy, Jedediah Bannerman as Benji, Ian Wright as Lord Kitchener, and Hope Ikpaku Jr. as Staples. The story is a multi-perspective, slow-burn drama about a boy named Benji looking for his father after his mother dies. He meets a man called Izzy who fits the description, but Izzy won't admit to it. Izzy takes Benji home and reluctantly gives him a place to stay, and the two bond and fight as they spend time together. The two of them live in a place called The Kitchen, with several city blocks that are now being illegally occupied after the government repossessed all of the land. With nowhere to go, the people of The Kitchen refuse to leave and have to deal with constant raids from the police. As things get worse in The Kitchen, Izzy is looking to leave but finds himself torn between escaping to a better life and staying to take care of Benji. In the background, there are two other stories. One is about a radio host in The Kitchen called Lord Kitchener, and another is about a rebel group that Benji meets and gets involved with. They're led by a man called Staples. The visual journey follows Benji and Izzy's emotional journey. We see how they met, how each of them lives their lives, and watch them spend time together and bond over simple things like meals and basic street vendor activities. There are also cutaways to Lord Kitchener at his radio station, and Staples and his rebels participating in raids and distributing the goods. We also get a bit of the rebels' home life through Benji spending time with them. The Kitchen is a couple of city blocks in London that used to be social housing. There are street vendors everywhere, every building is extremely run down, and nothing works. Everyone's dressed very casually as well. For big visual moments, there are the raids on The Kitchen. The cops show up and pandemonium breaks out. People start running and shouting while cops start beating people with batons and dragging them into police vehicles. It's like watching a riot in high definition. Sound-wise, the film uses a lot of instrumentals and original music. There's a variety of songs, reggae, R&B, etc. They use it to add flavor to The Kitchen and to the characters, as well as backing the emotional journey in certain sections. The instrumentals are used for the emotional journey and cover most of the film. Like the original music, there's a big variety, but they tend to be a bit quieter and a lot simpler. They also focus on adding emotion rather than atmosphere. Okay, so how did it do? The story is both a fantastic tease and a beautiful story about a father and son coming together. It's a little bit predictable from start to finish, but it touches on a lot of good emotions and gets into some deeply nuanced views on how people become radicalized, and how important family and community are in trying times. It does spend a lot of time on culture and atmosphere, and not a lot of time answering questions about what's going on. You learn about The Kitchen passively. No one ever outright tells you why it's illegal for them to be there, or why the government is so brutal in enforcing this. It also spends a long time asking the same questions over and over and teasing at the answer. When they finally reveal the answer, it's almost a bit disappointing how simple it is. It also relies on you sticking around to see the whole journey. Izzy is a hard person to stomach, and some of his actions made me want to check out early. That said, if you make it through, there's a lot of beautiful moments. The cast does a great job of their roles in portraying the fear that the people of The Kitchen felt and the bravery they showed in the face of the government. There are a lot of neat moments from an atmospheric perspective too. For standout performances, you had the two leads, Kane Robinson and Jedediah Bannerman. Kane Robinson as Izzy is a selfish and cynical person. He's been burned by people in the past, and now he only looks out for himself. When he's presented with a potential child, he undergoes a huge transformation. Robinson portrays both sides of Izzy in a heartfelt way and makes you both hate him and respect him. He does the emotional journey well and creates a lot of good moments with Bannerman. The two had great chemistry together. Jedediah Bannerman plays Benji, who is a bit of a sponge. He soaks up the world around him, trying to imitate it when he can and reacting to it. Bannerman plays his grief well and does a great job of bonding with the two different men who take him in. He does a good job of his emotional journey, which is a little bit more subtle, but he gets to do a big outburst toward the end and nails it. You could feel the struggle between Benji and Izzy, and it's a tearjerker of a scene. The visual journey is a bit shaky, but they did a good job of creating the dystopic setting and terrifying raids that capture the hostility and brutality of the government enforcers. The journey had a lot of interesting things to look at, a good contrast between the rich areas of Britain and the poor, and a lot of good emotional moments. The standout scenes were the big confrontations between Benji and Izzy throughout the film, and the two raids that happened. The raids are high-octane scenes that bring out the terror of the situation and explain why Izzy is so desperate to leave. The cops were just brutal and they didn't have any mercy for anyone. The emotional journey captured a lot of profound moments from the actors' performances and put them on full display. They took place in settings that provide a great atmosphere, and the emotional journey as a whole was quite successful. Sound-wise, the music brings out some great emotions and provides a good background for the film. It also adds a ton of atmosphere to The Kitchen and flavor to the people who live there. The scene of them singing at the funeral was a beautiful moment. That said, the instrumentals were a bit generic, and while they did a good job, they tended to fade into the background just a little bit. The original songs were a lot more prominent, but there weren't enough of them and they didn't have a big enough impact to be significant. They were catchy and fun at the moment, but you won't remember those moments later. Overall, I think The Kitchen has a lot of heart and a ton of flavor. There are some great visuals throughout the film, the soundtrack does a good job while being entertaining, and the acting is well done. If you like relationship dramas, this one's pretty good. It takes place in a fictional setting and allows for a lot of nuance. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 7 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye!